The terrifying reason women lose attraction instantly has nothing actually involving physical appearance anymore. Most men unknowingly destroy attraction before conversations even fully emotionally begin nowadays socially. And once you understand why, your entire reality starts changing permanently afterward, psychologically, forever. Because people secretly judge emotional weakness faster than appearance, money, or status nowadays socially. Women especially sense desperation instantly because insecure energy completely changes masculine presence subconsciously everywhere. That desperate energy silently destroys attraction, while men continue blaming looks constantly afterward emotionally. Maybe you already experienced this painful reality without consciously understanding anything fully beforehand internally. You texted carefully, waited nervously, then watched somebody suddenly lose interest emotionally overnight somehow. You entered rooms confidently, yet still felt strangely invisible around everybody socially afterward anyway. You tried harder, spoke louder, improved appearance, yet attraction kept disappearing repeatedly, somehow emotionally. And eventually, you started believing something must secretly feel wrong about yourself internally forever. But the truth honestly sounds darker than most men emotionally handle comfortably nowadays publicly. People rarely reject men because imperfections exist naturally throughout ordinary human life, everywhere, socially. People reject emotional neediness because desperation unconsciously creates discomfort during interactions constantly, everywhere. And modern society secretly trains men becoming emotionally addicted, approval-seeking validation machines psychologically. Social media especially profits from insecure men constantly comparing themselves against everybody online daily. Every scroll quietly convinces lonely men somebody else already became more valuable socially today. So men slowly begin performing, instead living naturally confident, authentic masculine lives emotionally anymore. They fake personalities, exaggerate achievements, and constantly chase reactions everywhere, publicly online nowadays. Because insecure men secretly believe attention automatically equals value, respect, and attraction emotionally, internally. And honestly, that belief destroys masculine confidence faster than rejection ever possibly could psychologically. You probably know somebody constantly flexing money, vacations, relationships, or gym progress online publicly. But strangely, those attention-addicted men often appear emotionally exhausted privately afterward anyway internally. Because validation works exactly like dopamine, eventually requiring stronger reactions constantly afterward, psychologically, emotionally. The more approval somebody receives, the emptier they eventually start feeling privately, inside, emotionally. And eventually, proving themselves becomes automatic, like breathing, surviving, or checking notifications obsessively every day. That explains why insecure men panic whenever conversations become quiet unexpectedly during interactions socially. Silence forces hidden insecurities rising directly toward conscious awareness, emotionally, inside themselves afterward, privately. So they overtalk, overshare, joke constantly, and desperately maintain social attention throughout conversations everywhere. Meanwhile, emotionally grounded men remain calm, even during awkward, uncomfortable silence, naturally, anywhere, publicly. Because powerful men never emotionally depend upon strangers validating personal worth anymore, internally, privately. And strangely enough, people instinctively trust emotionally detached men significantly more socially everywhere nowadays. Not because detachment appears rude, cold, toxic, or emotionally manipulative toward others, intentionally, publicly. Detachment feels attractive because emotional stability unconsciously signals confidence, strength, and self-respect. Naturally, women especially notice this difference almost immediately during dating interactions. Nowadays, socially, everywhere online, one man constantly seeks reassurance while another remains emotionally calm during uncertainty. Naturally, afterward, the calmer man usually creates stronger attraction, despite saying significantly fewer words. Socially, everywhere, because emotional control communicates confidence louder than appearance, status, or money ever realistically could. And neuroscience actually supports this through subconscious emotional pattern recognition research. Scientifically, today, worldwide, human brains constantly analyze vocal tension, posture, eye contact, and emotional congruency subconsciously. Everywhere, socially, meaning hidden insecurities silently affects conversations before actual words even appear verbally anywhere publicly. That explains why fake confidence eventually collapses whenever pressure, rejection, or criticism suddenly appears socially. Performances always require maintenance, while genuine self-acceptance creates emotional freedom naturally, internally, afterward. And honestly, most men spend entire lifetimes hiding insecurities, instead confronting them emotionally, privately. They fear rejection, mockery, embarrassment, and appearing weak before attractive people socially everywhere, constantly. So they carefully build personalities designed protecting emotional wounds from exposure publicly every day. But eventually, protection becomes prison. Once fear starts controlling identity completely internally, afterward, psychologically. You stop expressing opinions honestly because disagreement suddenly feels emotionally threatening socially everywhere nowadays. You avoid eye contact longer because insecurity already convinced your presence lacks importance naturally internally. You overthink simple conversations afterward, searching desperately for invisible mistakes mentally afterward, privately alone. And slowly, your authentic personality disappears beneath survival behaviors created through insecurity, emotionally, internally. That is exactly why emotionally grounded men appear calmer, stronger, and mysteriously attractive socially everywhere. They never waste energy hiding imperfections because acceptance already removed shame completely, internally, beforehand, emotionally. A short man jokes confidently because height no longer controls personal identity emotionally anymore internally. A bald man smiles naturally because self-respect already became emotionally stable privately, beforehand, internally. An awkward man speaks calmly because validation stopped controlling emotional self-worth anymore, psychologically, internally. And strangely, those imperfect men often attract stronger respect, admiration, and curiosity socially everywhere. Because emotional freedom feels rare within modern attention-addicted social media culture nowadays publicly, most men nowadays constantly chase reactions, while grounded men quietly observe everything calmly instead. They never enter rooms emotionally begging strangers validating their existence anymore, internally afterward, privately. Instead, they move slowly, speak intentionally, and remain emotionally centered during uncomfortable situations, naturally. That emotional consistency changes dating, friendships, career opportunities, and social attraction dramatically everywhere nowadays. People instinctively trust men remaining emotionally stable whenever pressure suddenly appears, socially, anywhere, publicly. And the terrifying part is, most men never recognize desperation destroying attraction subconsciously, daily, internally. Especially during moments where silence exposes hidden insecurities nobody else verbally mentioned publicly beforehand. Because the moment somebody stops needing approval, their entire energy changes immediately, socially everywhere. Women notice, faster, friends react differently, and strangers suddenly treat them respectfully everywhere, publicly. Not because appearance changed overnight, but because emotional desperation finally disappeared internally afterward, psychologically. And once validation loses control, your confidence becomes genuinely dangerous naturally everywhere socially afterward.